In this video we're going to talk about the product life cycle. Now, products pass through various stages from their development to their decline. Typically 4 stages we consider it to be the introduction, the growth, maturity and decline. And we can see all products within the market as having these 4 stages. At least most products. There possibly are exceptions, but we can imagine products as having these 4 phases in development. Introduction, that's when the product is just being introduced to the market. Customers are becoming aware of its price and its attributes, and the company is trying to position the product in the market. Growth is when the business is trying to make the product grow within the market, become the market leader, establish it strongly in the market, create brand loyalty for the product. Maturity is when it's at its peak. And just after maturity, it starts to decline. And it could go into a terminal decline. It could be the end of the product. And we want to talk about these in a bit more detail in this class. It's also worth noting, of course, that there are different profits at each stage in the product life cycle. Diagrammatically, what we're talking about is similar to this. I'll put the cursor onto the screen. Here we've got the introductory stage, just introducing it. Sales are building up. Growth stage, quite strong growth. Then maturity, when it reaches a maximum and then starts to decline. And then the real decline stage, where it actually comes down to, well, as I said, it could be terminal, it could be to the end, and there is no product at the end because the customers have turned against it. Perhaps it was seen as old-fashioned, or didn't keep up to date, or didn't meet current customer needs. So we're going to talk about these stages in a little more detail, and this will constitute the rest of this video. So we'll start with the first stage, which is the introduction. This is the launch of the product. Generally, sales will be low in this stage until the customers are aware of the product and its features. Advertising and promotion costs, however, tends to be quite steep, quite expensive in this period, because the company is trying to establish the product. It's trying to get it into the market. It needs to make the customers aware of its existence, its price, its quality, its general attributes, and how it will satisfy their needs. So the overall aim in this stage is to develop a market and the demand for the product. Now, we're going to look at the marketing mix. This is the subject of a different video, but the marketing mix is essentially looking at the, if you like, the tools that the marketers use to promote a product. The product itself, the price, and so on. When we look at the product, well, we're looking here at the branding and quality level of the product. And this needs to be established in the mind of the customer. So the customer sees the product as good quality, not too expensive. It addresses their need. And as for the price, well, there are 2 ways to go on the price. One is to make the price very low to enable it to get into the market and get established in the market. So the customers see it as good quality, an interesting product, an innovative product perhaps, but also cheap. Now that could be a way into the market. Later on the price may be increased, but at the early stages that could be one way. Or the other way is to what's known as skim pricing. It may be necessary to recoup, for example, high development costs or high promotion costs. Now, skim pricing means putting the product in at a very high price so that early adopters, customers who really want the product to be, and want it first, they want to show their friends that they've got it before everybody else, these people pay more. And when all of them are satisfied, then the price is reduced. In other words, the ones who want to pay for it first and pay a high price, the early adopters, they're skimmed off. So these are skimmed off first, and then the price is reduced for the other customers. It's called skim pricing. On distribution, well, in the introductory stage, trying to satisfy customer demand by efficient distribution. Efficient distribution means the customer gets the product quickly, and that adds to their positive experience. As for promotion, it's aimed at quickly building brand awareness and targeting early adopters. So promotion needs to be rolled out efficiently at the earliest stage. In the growth phase, this stage is concerned with the growth rate in terms of profit and sales. Now, the product starts to produce profit, so the company is in a position to consolidate its position in the market. It can do this by forming alliances, joint ventures, or even takeovers of existing companies in the market. It's more than likely, if it has a successful product, that competitors will be eyeing it up. Competitors will want to have a part of that. The product is profitable, so competitors will be attracted to it. So the company must consolidate, it must defend its position in the market. And these are various ways in which it may do this. It may also enable more efficient distribution channels to be exploited. The growth phase is a phase where the volume may increase, and that makes distribution channels more efficient because more are being shipped or moved down the channels. Advertising and promotion costs are higher in this stage as the company attempts to build brand recognition and deter competitors. So one of the ways in which to fight off the competitors, it's not just by forming alliances, joint ventures and so on, but it's also to build brand loyalty and brand recognition. And it does that by effective marketing campaigns. Now, the impact on the marketing mix. Well, the product, in the growth stage, the product quality is maintained and new features and packaging options may be introduced. It's important that the product changes in terms of the experience that the management have of the product, what they believe the customers want, perhaps from market research. So the product itself is evolving to meet customer demands more effectively. And also packaging may be introduced which signifies its position in the market as a quality product. The price, well, in this stage the price may be high if demand is high. That's quite basic economics. If the demand is high, the company may charge a higher price. It may be lowered to have extra growth. If the company wants to grow even faster, it may lower the price, thereby pulling in more sales, getting more sales. It all depends, however, on the extent of the market. The market may be saturated, and if it is, then the higher price one is the more likely outcome in that situation. Now, distribution. Well, distribution channels may be expanded as demand increases. And this, as I said earlier, will enhance customer experiences. And it will add to the reputation and the image of the product. The promotional effort is aimed at maintaining the market and also at extending it with new customers. So all of the parts must fit together. All of them are aiming to do essentially the same thing. Maintain sales, grow sales, maintain its position in the market, fight the competitors or the potential competitors. In the maturity phase, generally this is the most profitable stage. It's depicted by strong brand awareness and reduced advertising expenditure. They don't need to advertise that much. It's very well known now. The product is well established and there's a strong brand awareness. However, sales start to fall in this stage. Competitors may become established and it may be difficult for the company to maintain its place in the market. The product, well, in this stage the aim is to differentiate the product from its competitors, to try and ensure that the product is different from those of the competitors in the sense that it will maintain its position in the market and fight off any competition. As for pricing, increased competition forces the company to reduce prices. So increased competition forces the company to reduce prices. That may be the case in the maturity section. The distribution part of the marketing mix, well, new distribution channels may promote sales and maintain shelf space. It depends on the product, of course. The product may not need shelf space. It may be some other product. But new distribution channels will help to promote sales because it certainly gives the customer a better experience. Promotion, well, promotion is dedicated to promote differentiation and build brand loyalty. So that's in the maturity phase. The maturity phase, it's really consolidation. Try to differentiate the product from any competitors coming in and building brand loyalty. In the decline stage, over time the market becomes competitive and the product may become obsolete or customers' preferences may change. In the decline stage the product may be seen as old-fashioned. It's been around for some time. Perhaps it hasn't been innovated. It hasn't changed much or it's not kept up to date with modern trends. So in the decline stage the product becomes less attractive in the marketplace and competitive pressure is on the product. The competitors have similar products and they have changed their products and made them more interesting to the customer. The cost of producing the product may increase because of declining sales and loss of production economies. And that's the problem, that as sales start to fall, the overheads still remain. Fixed costs are fixed costs. So, except the fixed costs are now spread over less output. So as sales fall, costs tend to rise. Faced with decline, the company has three options. First, keep the product in the market. Well, it may do this hoping that the competitors will leave. That's highly unlikely perhaps, but the competitors may give up and leave. Maybe not. They may try to reduce costs. So there will be a quest on to try and cut costs wherever possible within the organization. Cutting costs will enable the business to survive. Or they may actually innovate the product, which is a very proactive response. Innovate the product to try and recapture market position. The second option is to harvest the product until no more profit can be obtained. In other words, recognize that the sales are in decline, make as much as possible in that period, and let the inevitable happen. And the last one is simply cease production, stop overall production. Now the impact on the marketing mix, well, the product, reduce the number of products in the product line. That's one way perhaps of cutting costs. Possible. It depends on the number of products in the product line to start with, I suppose. It also depends on the information being available. The management may know the number of products in the product line, and may know the layout of the product line, but it may not have precise information as to what the costs are in each part of the product line. That's an issue for management accountancy, but it's difficult to ascertain the precise figures. They may reduce the price to try and dispose of stocks, to try and ensure that if the business does go under, at least they're not holding a lot of stock. So they may have a pricing policy to try and clear out existing stocks. Distribution, well, unprofitable channels may be closed. Again, it depends on whether the management know which distribution channels are unprofitable. The management may know distribution quite well and have figures for overall distribution costs and so on, but as to whether it knows precisely what each channel costs, that may or may not be the case. Promotion, well, these costs are reduced if the outlook is considered terminal. There's no point in advertising and marketing and having marketing campaigns if there is a firm belief that the business is about to go under. If the business is going to close, there is no point in engaging in those activities. Now, some general comments about the product stages model. Well, first of all, not all products follow predictable life phases. So we've set it up like all products do, but presumably there are exceptions. The model is not useful for forecasting product sales. It is just a model showing 4 stages, 4 phases of development: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. It's not used for forecasting, and it shouldn't be used for forecasting. It would be quite dangerous if it was. And it's also very difficult to say what stage the product has reached at any moment in time. Is it in the growth phase or the mature phase? Is it in the mature phase or the decline phase? It's difficult to say. So it's difficult to be precise about the policies to follow based on the model. It may be useful in planning marketing campaigns and monitoring sales over a period of time, but it's not meant to be a precise mathematical model of the stages in which products go through. It is just a way of looking at possible stages and possible responses at various stages. It's up to management to identify which stage they're in, or have a guess at which stage they're in, and tailor their policies accordingly. Okay, so that concludes this session. That's all I want to say about this at the moment. So Thank you for watching.